You don't even drink coffee.
Oh, yeah, like a milkshake or...
Oh, you get a milkshake. Oh.
You don't want to say a milkshake, mate.
This includes venues as well, so when you go out, get that rig out before you get kicked out. That's something I live by.
Because I know we'd go to horse camps and you'd meet everyone and then everyone you want to keep in touch with. You'd get on MSN and then...
You want to readdress that?
What?
What kind of camps are you going on?
Anyway, week of a lifetime. It was absolutely massive. I was all over the place, driving hours
Didn't
and hours
you just
a day.
do your weekly update?
Well, that was not it. I
Ross, if you're listening, can you please come back?
Mate, I think go on, Pross, I've replaced you. This was his whole plan to get on this pod. So infiltrate as a guest.
Look, I will leave it there, but there's a bit of controversy from last week, and it's because my spot that I've spent years earning was usurped by none other than a person you'll hear from later in the episode. Hopefully much, much later. Much of this episode is going to be just me, Pross. Dos, unfortunately, couldn't be here, but I'm going to kick this show, keep it going, and hopefully I can just keep this going solo as much as possible. Hey, keep it quiet. You'll speak when spoken to, big fella. No, I am here with none other than the young calf himself, Darcy.
I'm back.
Slater.
I've replaced Hayden. I did say it in that episode. I said I would start with replacing Dos to kind of get my Pross to get my foot in the door. Then I'd replace Hayden and all would be right in the world. And it is. I logged into the Instagram the first time on the weekend before I got the call up to replace Hayden. I kind of knew the universe was just telling me that I'm replaced him. He's never coming back.
Is this like something that is a major sort of like plot point for your entire life? Is this I don't know if it's a Macbeth thing or like the younger brother just constantly trying to potentially, maybe not ruin the other brother's life, but definitely to try and succeed him in everything he does.
I think it is, and I think I have. This is the turning point where Hayden's life's been slowly going downhill and mine's slowly going uphill, and this is the point where they intersected.
I love that yours is only slowly going uphill. That's as good as you could give yourself. You could have said anything there. Like it's just not a massive, like shooting like a rocket. But no, it's slowly going up. I mean, I'm doing all right. But yes, you're listening to Trust Us, the most popular podcast hosted by me. That's on the platform. So that's pretty exciting in Australia, actually. And we've got a lot to talk about today and a great episode that actually with a rogue guide that Dos would probably have been an expert in, but we'll get to that in a second. We'll firstly kick things off with the usual weekly update and find out what's been going on around the traps. Das, what's been keeping you busy?
Well, this is actually the first episode I've recorded ever without Hayden in it. Every other episode, Hayden's been in it. So this is
I'm a little worried. Yeah, you're telling me. I don't really know how it's going to go. I'm going to have to sort of step up and try and keep control of things here, because maybe try and fill into Dos's role of being the big dog and try to small dog you as much as possible. But yeah, big shoes to fill, big fella.
So yeah, weekly update. So what's been happening? Daylight savings has come in on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, this is definitely sounding like my kind of weekly update. Daylight savings. What do you think about it? Are you for it or against it?
I used to be against it, but once you live, it's propaganda being against it. It's really something that when you live in Queensland, everyone just says they hate it, and then you live with it, and you're like, wait, this is actually kind of cool because it's a turning point for summer. Basically, you have a single day. There's no like gradual. It's like everything's different. The energy's different. Melbourne feels different.
Oh, imagine listening to someone in Melbourne talk about propaganda done by the bloody daylight savings crew. Daylight savings is a terrible thing. Is that what you're saying? It's the worst thing, and it should not be. It should not be in place. No, it's awful. It's terrible.
Because the cows don't know when they're gonna get milked.
Talk about propaganda. You would say that. That is the most dismissive propaganda out there. No, it's hours in the day, mate. You're not going to make the hardworking backbone of Australia, the agricultural scene, the farmers and the graziers, get up bloody later in the. I can't even hang on, which one? They get up later in the day, so they're in the sunlight from the start and cooking for the entire day. I'm pretty sure that's how it would work out here.
They get up earlier, so they'd be cooking the whole day.
Yeah, okay. Well, look, I'm not a grazier, so I can't really say it. But I have drunk the Kool-Aid, and I do think it's a bad thing. And only people in cities think it's a good thing. So I think you guys should just accept that is the way it is for you guys. Good for you, but not up here, not in Queensland, not in God's country, mate.
But the interesting thing I noticed about, and it must be the daylight savings, the only thing that changed this week, my commute home from work. Usually it's like 45 minutes on average day, 40 minutes on a good day. Today was 35 minutes. And I was overtaken at least 30, 40 times. Like, it was insane. Like, at least half of those were going like 20 plus the speed limit.
Oh, you were driving?
I was going, yeah, and I was going at least 5 above the speed limit. Like,
I'm so used to talking to Doss where it's just like he walks and trams or doesn't tram and walks. But really? People were zooming past you.
Yeah, it was crazy. I've never
seen
it. Like everyone was like, they were running out of sunlight. It was crazy. They had to get back and enjoy the daylight saving. It was. I don't know how to describe it.
Wow, that sounds spiritual, dude. I can see why you feel so strongly about it, but I definitely think it's a bad thing and shouldn't be in place. Except I was actually having a really good chat with someone about Queensland and about our Premier, Stephen Miles, in a debate recently was asked if he thinks that Queensland is the best state in Australia. And he said, I think Queensland is the best country in the world. And I have to admit,
shit.
As a Queenslander, that gave me goosebumps. And, you know, I was sort of wondering what would happen if Australia went its separate ways and then we split off into like an island continent as we are, but instead of states, countries. And I just wonder which country would be like, you know, the Russia in that situation or the Switzerland maybe. I mean, the ACT would probably be Switzerland, but
It'd be Sydney, New South Wales versus WA, I reckon. Victoria would just be little cowards and who'd surrender.
They just keep the Tasmanians at bay or something.
Queensland would be like Vietnam.
Yeah, no, it'd be the People's Republic of Queensland for sure. Like we would, we'd probably even dig like a moat around the border to like really set.
Yeah.
Actually, we'd probably try and make it an island, its own separate island.
Yeah.
But we dig into the land on the countries adjacent to us, not into our own land.
Tasmania would be like North Korea.
Yeah. No, I feel like, yeah, actually they would. They actually definitely would. The Hermit Kingdom, they are very hermit.
Yeah, you wouldn't be allowed to leave.
Darcy, I think you might have just heard the word that just came up there, hermit, which is the ultimate segue into the road guide topic today, which is being alone. Now, as I said, Doss has spent many years cultivating a reputation for himself as being alone. But here we are, you and I think we, in our pasts and your current, present, and future as well, very much into being alone. I think that the trustees, I think there's a lot of loners in the group, you know, that maybe want some feedback. They don't want to hear about talking to girls. Gross. No way. They don't want to talk about talking to boys. No way. I don't want to talk to anyone. I want to stay home and I want to be alone. So I've actually got an interesting background with this. A lot of people will strongly claim I'm an introvert or I'm an extrovert. I don't meet many people that are pretty much straight down the middle. People that, in my opinion, I'm 51% extroverted. I would say that. I don't know if I would be described by that by other people, but I know how much I love being alone. And I know that it's very, very strong. But I do know that if someone says, hey, Dan, come over or we're going out, I'll be like, ooh, that sounds like a good option. But then when I'm alone, happy. No worries with it at all. What about yourself?
I reckon I'm similar. I would say I'm like ambiverted or omniverted, whatever the middle is. Introvert, I think, is slightly the stronger one. But I've realized I had the oldest brother stay with me last week for a few days. And holy shit, that reduced me down to my core. Like, I was battling. Like, I have a new rule because I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. It's a very small, my desk and everything. Like, my bedroom is nothing. It's just my bed. I'm never in there except to like sleep pretty much. And So everything's outside my bedroom, and that's where my brother was. So I had no alone time. And for more, like, I have a new rule, 2 days is the max. But I was struggling. Like, I was just so irritable. I was just like falling into like depression. Like,
man.
I kind of stopped cleaning or caring about like the house and everything. Like my mental state just drops if I don't get a good amount of alone time.
Yeah. You didn't think about moving your computer setup into your room?
I couldn't fit it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it'd
right.
be too much. I could bring my laptop, and I did. I started to bring my laptop to work from my bed, which is depressing.
Yeah. When you're like when your bedroom is your office as well, I don't think that's that necessarily makes you feel too good.
Yeah.
Was your brother picking up what you're putting down? Be like, man, I'm not dealing with you being here.
Yeah, I did say he should stay at Hayden's place because Hayden was out of town, and we spoke to the roommate. He was cool with it, and that was originally going to be the plan. But it kind of got to the things like, one more day, and then one more day. Oh, it's been 4 days. Oh, I'm heading back tomorrow, and I'm just like, okay. So I think maybe I'm a bit more introverted than I thought I was. I am quite outgoing as an introvert. Like I'm the same as you. I'll say yes to stuff. A mate says, hey, come around, or let's get beers tonight. I'm usually in. But for me to get energy, alone gives me so much.
Interesting. I think we might be on the same wavelength, just a little bit more, angled towards the extrovert or introverted. But yes, omni/ambiverted. That's cool. Hadn't heard that before, but I definitely feel like that sums me up to a T. Well, the road guide to being alone. Obviously, we love being alone, as we just said. And there's a few things we've picked up along the way. Me, I used to be professionally alone, especially when I moved to Longreach, as much as I had the social life. I bought my own place, moved in, and learnt that step one to being alone is to do it your way. No one's going to tell you how to do it otherwise. No one knows how to live alone with yourself than you do. And I bought this really nice small little house. It was still way too big because it was 3 bedrooms, living room, kitchen, bathroom, etc. So, I mean,
small house.
Yeah, for Longreach, it's a small house. I know that you're listening from Melbourne in your little shoebox, and you're thinking, "Whoa, 2 bedrooms, jeez, whatever." No, it was a very cheap little house, and but I inhabited exactly one room, which was the bedroom, which had my double mattress sitting on the floor. In fact, I think it might have been a single mattress because I was really just not. I wasn't even entertaining. I wasn't even having girls over, Darcy. And they were throwing themselves at me, but I definitely was just like, no, thank you. Which is a believable story, I hope, for everyone listening. But I had my single bed. I had my computer just sitting on a wall somewhere, and literally nothing else. My family brought up furniture for the living room, which never got used. A TV in the living room never got used. No other lights went on except my bedroom and the kitchen. And that was pretty much it. Kitchen, bathroom, and my room in a 3-bedroom house was the only things getting used. And I bought blinds as my first purchase, blackout blinds that you could pull down. I blacked out the entire house, and those blinds were down 24/7. And I can tell you that my now wife had only green flags, I'm pretty sure, for me up until the point she came into the house and saw that I was living like a bat, essentially, in pure darkness. And I thought it was pretty environmentally friendly. Like, I kept the house cool during the day, which meant it was easy to cool up. So a lot of people talk about wanting to be environmentally friendly, but they just aren't, because I was living on that level like a bat, and it was glorious.
They won't go the extra mile.
No, they'll judge you for it as well. It's like, sorry, but I'm being pretty sustainable here, only using one room, using barely any power. But yeah, do it your way, because like I said, you're alone. No one's judging you for it.
Yeah, I agree with the curtains. I've been a big fan of blackout curtains, and I've kind of got like, I don't have it in my current place. I got blinds kind of at the front, and one of my neighbors will like mention like, oh, you never put like your blinds, you get light and stuff in there. I never ever. It's only really Hayden when he comes around, he'll put the blinds down, and I'm like, oh, I can see out the front of my house. Yeah. I keep the one on the side open so I get a little bit of light on that side. But the ones at the front where people can look in, that's staying permanently closed. But that brings me, step 2 is bring a pet or an animal. you can be alone, but with a pet, and it makes it so much better. Having something
Totally.
to cuddle, having something to kind of play with while still being in your own thoughts, talk to, start confessing your problems, your fears to the animal. Hope they don't speak back.
Project your anxiety onto it.
Yeah, man. If you have any like problems, project that onto the animal so that you'll both be anxious together, and then you won't quite be so alone.
You've got. Do you even have an animal at the moment,
No.
Dars? You had a cat.
I'm gonna
though,
get
didn't
one
you?
next year.
Oh no, you did have a cat, but not your cat. Rest in peace,
Yeah.
beautiful kitty cat. Cool. You getting one next week? Next year?
Next year, yeah. Well, I
Oh,
want to
sweet.
go overseas for a period, so after that, maybe buy a house and then get a pet. So either end of next year or the year after. So
Where you
yeah,
buying, bro?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe
Suburbs. Yeah, okay. Jeez, nice. Plenty of houses out in Longreach. 3 bedrooms, small ones, for you to purchase. I totally agree. As much as I've got my dearly beloved, my dog Paulie. Oh, he's good. He's good value. When Danny's away, and she was away for a few weeks recently, you just chat to the dog, play with the dog. The dog's happy, gets your mood up. That's another thing. In the case of dogs, they get your mood up. They're happy and they're silly and they put up with your crap. So definitely, I think having a pet it's still being alone, but it is definitely a power move to have. And also it can help you make friends if you take it outside, but obviously cats can't. So another reason why dogs are
I've
probably...
seen people walk their cats in Melbourne.
Yeah, I don't think you're getting the right kind of attention.
I'd love to get a
weird.
cat that could walk around, or that just sits on my shoulder or something like that. That'd be sick.
You would. Step 3, similar to the lines of having a pet, but don't go full hermit. It can be very easy to just pull the blinds down and have your day-to-day pretty much be work, homework, sleep, whatever, how it works. Play games online. Hopefully you've got friends to play with online. But then again, maybe you don't. It's just, I feel like if you go completely off the grid, your personal hygiene falls off. You start sort of maybe adopting some fringe beliefs from the YouTube channels that are radicalizing you. And before you know it, you've got no chance of re-entering society. And then you're stuck being alone. At least be alone as a choice, That way you can turn it off when you want to. Be social. But don't make it so that being alone is it basically no longer a choice. It's a reality, because things can get pretty I can imagine things get pretty dire.
Yeah, I think people learned that a bit with COVID, that if you need to surround yourself with people when you're in that state of just giving up, basically.
Yeah, but you could give up together with everyone else.
Exactly, yeah. And with a pet, they'll give up too.
Yeah.
But step 4, learn to be... It was funny when last week when I was on it, I had to ask Hayden when to go to the next step.
I know, I heard. And then there was one, step 1, it was like, and you were like, yeah, and it's cool how you, and he was like, mate, if you've got nothing to say, then just go, move on. I love you tried so hard to say something.
All right, step 5 then. No. Step 4, learn to be alone in a crowd. Now, this is like kind of a hidden talent of mine. I can be in a crowd of people and I can turn it on and off, but I can turn it on when not a single person in the crowd will know I'm there. Like if I disappeared, they wouldn't even know.
Oh, this is dark.
There's 2 ways to interpret it. One,
they wouldn't care either. No one would care. I just turn it on and off.
They wouldn't fucking care, man. There's 2 ways to do it. One is kind of you get the energy with everyone else without having to worry about people looking at you, engaging. You're recharging energy while still being with everyone else and still kind of contributing to the energy.
It's true.
And then the second side of it is completely different. It's you're alone in a crowd, but you have heaps of energy. So think of it like you're on a night out. You don't know anyone around you, but you're just going crazy. You're dancing, you're having fun. You're alone, but you're around people.
Yeah. And, I presume that people would then gravitate towards you if you do so choose. If you're putting out that kind of Cool with your
Not
own
me.
self-energy? No, they'd stay away. wouldn't they?
People throw drinks in my face. Girls will slap me.
One thing I've really been loving, and I was at Flyers Ball recently in Longreach, which is one of the big events of the year. Awesome if you're if you're looking to come out to Longreach, come to Flyers Ball. Very fun night. Basically everyone, mostly the young people, but a lot of people in town get dressed up to the nines and go out to the race course or the woolshed or the civic centre in some cases when it's raining. And they and yeah, it's just a ball, lots of dancing, good food, a lot of socializing and stuff. But you know, I'm kind of getting old now. I could see myself being aged out of the demographic that was mostly there. Dead set. I was like, whoa, these people are young. Like,
Right.
and I don't.
Long reach. That's a reach. That's a long reach.
That's not very nice, buddy. And it's not true either. It's just nasty what you just said. I can see why you're alone, all right? Let's just say that.
Where's
Anyway.
my brother?
Like, why do I lash out? No, but it was, I just like standing around sometimes in a crowd and just vibing along, but mostly just enjoying everyone else sort of enjoying it. You sort of do a bit of people watching. You see like the blossoming romances or like that girl is definitely not into that guy at all. And it's just kind of funny seeing like the awkwardness of it all. I kind of really enjoy that actually. And
Yeah.
I get a
You
kick
kind
out
of
of
just,
it.
you're present in the moment and you're kind of just a part of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And now step 5 is going to be a little bit controversial because step 3 was the opposite. But there is another way to be alone. There is, and it'd be rude of us not to address it, and that is to go full hermit. And there are some rather famous people of history that have gone full hermit.
Successful people.
Yeah, I mean, they wrote manifestos and, you know, they were published and widespread, so it must have been good. But there's definitely, you know, for some people, you can go into the mountains, get a wooden cabin, go off grid completely, not see anyone. You know, I wouldn't endorse going much further than that, as in like potentially Ted Kaczynski style Unabomber sending postage bombs to universities and whoever disagreed with your particular thoughts. But I think if you stop just short of that, just shy of
Send like love notes, postcards, something else.
Yeah, you can still post, definitely. I definitely don't want to discourage full hermits from posting.
And maybe
things,
just
but,
small bombs. Like it might blow up a hand, but it won't kill them.
Yeah, we start off with glitter bombs and maybe work your way up to like bombs that
Fart bomb.
with allergens maybe in them, so that if on the chance that someone's allergic to whatever's in the bomb, it's like, oh, anyway, no, don't do that. Stop short, just short of that, just short. I think there's a really good way of living that's really purely alone. And Darcy, I don't think that I think you'd agree that could in some ways be actually a really cool existence.
For me, like my dream is to get a cabin in the woods somewhere and just not talk to anyone.
Oh no! Tell me, don't go into any. We're not going to start posting things, are we? You're not thinking about posting anything, are you?
Well, I mean, I won't if they agree with me. If they agree with my manifesto, I do think the best way with going full hermit is set yourself a time period. So, hey, I'm going to go here for a week, a month. I'm a big fan of going in. I call it hermit mode. Usually,
do you
after,
actually?
Yeah. It's usually after I've been on a few dates, and I kind of just sick of going on dates, sick of girls, sick of just them all wanting me.
I know, it's so stressful.
Sick of the attention.
Yeah.
And I just kind of go hermit mode. I try and I'll see friends, but sometimes I won't. I'll have a month where I don't see friends much. I just have my alone time. And then after that, you get back on the horse and you get seeing people. But having periods like that can be helpful, as long as they're short periods that you've set kind of a rough estimate on how long you want to do.
Yeah. And as long as you have, positioned yourself that you can get out of it when you want to, because it's a choice.
And have a way to contact society, like send people packages.
Step 6. How to design a postal. No, we can't do that because the FBI is listening. Actually, the FBI is not listening. But if they were listening, because then we'd know, because we'd have a listener. Zero listeners.
true.
So the
My
FBI is
lawyer-
not listening.
My 101 first dates lawyer is actually listening. I'm
Okay.
okay. Strongly worded.
Brilliant. So,
email.
that means you're bringing viewers over to the Trust Us podcast from
That's true.
101. Nice.
I do pay him per like minute of the episode, and if he has to like go back and watch it because he wasn't like listening, I have to pay for that as well.
What
Just
did he
crazy
say about
'cause if
what did he say about the post office just then? Let me go back.
charge an extra 2 minutes. Like,
Yeah. All right. Well, I feel like that was kind of uplifting. Even the end. I mean, elements of the end, of course, but there's definitely being alone. Being alone is sick. It's really good, and definitely, if you're like us and you need it, do it. Get it out. Get it done. Now, this is going to be tough, Das, because there's a few little segments that we always do at the end of the pod that DOS is quite involved in. And now with him being away and me being the the host MC and you being the humble co-host guest, I'm going to try and lead the way here. So I'm actually going to give you the choice. I've got a blind ranking of either handshakes or fast food places.
handshakes, I think, would be more fun, but fast food places, I'd probably take it more seriously.
Yeah, I actually there's a one place in particular that I really wanted to. I'm doing the fast food places for. But I was talking about handshakes the other day, and I realized that like some people were describing handshakes different types, and some people had never heard of it. And then as soon as they did the example handshake, they're like, "Oh yeah, I've had that one," and like kind of thing. Or they were like, "Oh, this guy gives a good handshake." So your call, mate. Handshakes or fast food?
I do have a suggestion. We're losing a segment. Trem's phobic. We don't need it. Hayden's not here. We could just do 2 blind rankings.
All right, let's go for it. Darcy, starting with a blind ranking where I will give you 5 different types for those that don't know how it works of handshakes, but you'll be ordering them as we go. You won't know what once you've ordered the first one, you won't know what the other 4 are. So you're kind of thinking like, oh, by law of averages, this is where that one sits. Also by like what you think you would like, but not knowing the full range of handshakes I'm about to offer. I could offer 5 dud types of handshakes.
I already know what you're going to offer. I read your little pea brain.
All right. We're going to kick this off with the main one. Let's go with the vice-like grip handshake of someone
like
that
the Arnold.
Someone's trying to staunch you a bit. No, they're actually.
Oh yeah.
They've got you in a.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, hey, g'day, mate.
Right.
And they it's like, oh, okay, all right. No,
I'm gonna say 4.
4 for the vice-like grip. Okay. What about the solid handshake? You see your mate, you come up to him, g'day, mate, bang. There's even a little clasping sound as you link. The hands perfectly slide in. You just both get a good grip. And you might even put your hand on their shoulder and be like, yeah, it's kind of the Arnold. It's just a solid handshake that hits the spot.
That one I'm only going to put as a 3 because I like a handshake where I'm a bit more in charge. I'm the one squeezing a bit harder than them. If it's equal, I don't like that power. Like I like a Donald Trump handshake where I like rip them towards me.
you ragdoll a little bit.
Yeah.
So you like that? You're kind of the vice-like gripper. You like to be the vice-like gripper.
I don't want to be like someone else doing to me. It makes me feel small.
All right. So 4 for the vice-like grip, 3 for the solid classic handshake.
Yeah.
All right. What about the wet fish handshake, where you grab the person's hand and they're not even trying with it? It's kind of just like, they call it the dead fish or the wet fish, where you just it's just like there's nothing happening there, and it's just kind of flopping around. It's not a power move from you because they're not even engaging really in the handshake. You are kind of just you're flopping your arms around.
Yeah, I pretty much the office people when I at my new job were this. Factory workers were strong firm. CEO was strong firm. I'm going to say 5. I'm going to be brave and leave 1 and 2 for last.
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy you've got here where you've gone 3, 4 because there's some. Anyway, okay, so we've gone the dead fish or the wet fish is your least favorite. We've gone vice-like grip when the person's trying to big dog and you can't big dog them back. Your hand is being absolutely crushed.
Yeah.
This is a certified factory worker. This is like a steel mill worker or something. And thirdly, you've gone for the classic solid handshake. How about the handshake where you link up? It's kind of like the solid handshake, but it's with a cobber. It's with an old bloke. It's with someone that works, that you've got a bit of respect for. A bit of an old bloke, old fashioned. And he says, "Oh, good handshake, mate."
Oh, yeah. That one.
You've got a good handshake on you, young fella. Oh, you're the young calf? Yeah, that's a better handshake than your brother.
I let him go. I'm holding that hand until I fucking can't anymore.
I'm using my left hand to wipe tears from my eyes because this is beautiful. I can't believe this is happening to me.
Okay, I'm happy with how it's going so far. It's just whether the next one is either worse. It's either going to just be some dog shit one. I was hoping for a dap, a secret handshake. I'm still thinking those are the option. I'm still thinking those are out there. But that one where they say it's... Yeah, I think the approval, I got to go with number 1.
I think a wise choice. So you've chosen, for some reason, as your second favorite handshake from that list, the handshake where do you give a good handshake? Are you happy with your handshake? Are you an operator when it comes to a handshake?
Yeah, I think I've practiced it.
Good eye contact, good connection,
good duration.
It's the handshake where they grab too early, and they grab the top of your hand, and then at this point, you are forced into the limp dead fish situation. You know that one where it's like they clasp here right up on your fingers. You know that one? Yeah. So that's what you've chosen as number 2.
I'm happy with that. Because that makes me like the big dog. That little fish, they can't even grab my whole hand. My hand's that fucking masculine. That callus. The hand doesn't slide up it. The callus has stopped them.
The friction has grabbed it right there on the fingers. Wow. Dude, you've spun that. You have spun that. I really thought I had you for a minute there. That's pretty good. So finally, just to run back through it real quick, top 1 that you love is when the cobber says, good handshake, mate. Yeah. Secondly, you love it when they grab your fingertips too early before you can make
they're the
proper
one fucking
contact.
The handshake up.
They are. That's the problem, but they don't realize that. But they might go like, "Oh, hold on, fishy boy. That's not a real handshake." And you go, "No, you grabbed too soon. You grabbed my hand. You grabbed my fingers. You give me a chance." And then thirdly, you went with the solid classic. Fourthly, it was the vice-like grip, and fifth, it was the limp wet fish. Well done, Darcy. I think that's actually not a terrible outcome. I thought maybe it would have gone worse there, but I feel like you're always going to cope and come up with a sneaky way of justifying
The
it.
only really change would be 2 and 3. That would, everything else with that, I'd say would be pretty good.
Nice. Trying to rip through some restaurants.
Yeah. So I feel that people can't see when I nod.
Yeah. Very, very little of this pod gets video of this pod goes out. So okay. Blind ranking fast food places. Now you have to keep in mind I live in Longreach. We don't have fast food, so maybe I have an old fashioned idea of what fast food is. But let's go from here.
We go on Australian fast food.
Yeah, fast food that I've had essentially. Hoping that you've had it too. I'm going to start with the classic. This is the barometer. I would say McDonald's.
Right.
Simple, classic McDonald's.
I'm gonna put it at. I gotta put it at 3. It's the most mid, in not a bad way, but not a good way.
Interesting.
It's just there.
Interesting. Number 2, Subway.
I used to be a big fan of Subway. I used to get it all the time.
Foot long, Italian herbs and cheese.
I would have
chicken
rated
fillet.
it at like a 2, but after they've doubled their price basically in the last 2 years. It's insane how expensive it is now. You used to be able to get a foot long for $8 back in the day. Now it's $14.
Whoa.
Yeah. Or 15. Or so. It's crazy. I'm pretty sure 15, 16 actually.
Jeez. They're not the people's
So,
sandwich
yeah.
anymore.
So I might put that at number 5. I used to love it. It used to be like 1 or 2, maybe a 2. But the price increase is just crazy. I went into a Subway. The lady in front of me was like, no, I just ordered a 6-inch. And she's like, that's what the new prices are.
Hey, you didn't stutter. We know. Thirdly, KFC. A champion of the people.
Number 1.
Very popular. Whoa.
It's
Okay,
the
number
GOAT.
1.
Yeah, I love KFC with a Mountain Dew. The shit hits different as a hangover food.
The Mountain Dew has to be Mountain Dew. It's almost not the meal. It's not right without the Mountain Dew.
Yeah, it just fits together.
This one's a little controversial, potentially, but it's my wife's favorite, I would say, potentially. Guzman y Gomez.
Guzman is good.
It's good.
I'm
man.
going to say it's a little bit spendy, but
Would you prefer
most
it to
of the time
Macca's?
it's good. Yeah, I would prefer it. So I'm going to say number 2.
Nice. Well, I hate Guzman y
Macca's
Gomez.
is expensive these days as well, so it's not really that.
Guzman's
worse.
definitely my number 5. But
Really?
last but not least, placing in at 4th place, I think we've established here,
Yeah.
is my new second favorite joint. I've otherwise mostly agreed with your rankings. Second favorite would have to be Red Rooster. So for you, the 4th favorite, number 4, you think Red Rooster
Yeah.
is only worth number 4.
Yeah.
It is massively, massively underrated. Massively. I can't even emphasize that enough. That's the only reason I want to do this segment. I just need people to know. Go back to Red Rooster.
It's money
Give it a
laundering.
shot.
Did you fucking buy a piece of the shares or something?
No, you've got it wrong.
Is it a cult where like 0.1% of the population eats it, but they eat it so much that somehow it stays in business?
I actually believe that could be the case. You're drinking the Kool-Aid. It's the propaganda again. You've got
I've had
daylight
it
savings
before
propaganda.
a few times.
I know you have. You should have. Especially as a kid, you should have had it a lot, all the time almost. I know
Not a
we'd
huge
always
amount as a
at
kid.
Noosa we'd always go and get roast chicken with the chips, and then we'd have that for dinner. That'd be where we'd go to get the roast chicken. But then I stopped going, and then I would drive past it, and every single time it was empty, and I thought for sure that it's a money laundering operation, definitely. And hopefully your lawyer can listen to this segment as well and just make sure nothing defamatory is being said about accusing.
He only cares about us getting cancelled. He doesn't care about. He wants people to try and sue us because it's good kind of publicity.
Okay, good. Hopefully he's handy. But these days, mate, it's coming for KFC. I think for me personally, it could dethrone KFC as the chicken joint.
What's changed? What is the selling point?
Have you been
They've always had
inside
good chips.
Have you? The chips are the same. They're still good. They're probably a little bit worse, but nostalgia could come into that. No, mate. The chicken, the sauces, it's a little bit cleaner than KFC, I think. They're trying harder. The flavors they've got, the different things they dunk the chicken in, is just unreal, mate. Unreal. Really, really good. Just talking about it makes you want to...
7 herbs and spices, though?
7.
I don't fucking think
mate.
so.
No,
They have a secret recipe?
Hundreds. No, and it's actually a what do they call it? An open source recipe. They want everyone to be able to do it because they're good people that aren't gatekeeping chicken, like the Colonel. All right, another reason to love them. So look, that's really what I really want to get across is that Red Rooster is so good. Go back, give it a try.
I genuinely think I got the perfect list. I actually nailed that. That's how I would have ranked without wine. Maybe if I went to Red Rooster again, it might bump up. But currently, as it is now, I'm happy with it at a 4.
See, I thought to myself, what's the worst fast food joint? And I could only think of Guzman y Gomez. What could I have said that could have really potentially screwed you up there? Even though it still would have ended at 4. What's your least favorite joint?
Least favorite. What are the other ones? I mean, Hungry Jack's.
Oh, a Porto. No good.
I like a Porto. I'd put a Porto at like number 2, I reckon.
What?
Yeah.
Hungry
I think
Jacks
'cause
is
I don't
a
have
good
it
option.
often.
Hungry Jacks is really low tier for me. I would, yeah, I think it could be just above.
When
Cosmetic
they had
MS.
the Hunger Tamers came out, and it was like $12 for you got 2 burgers, basically chips and stuff. That's when it was goated. But now you try to get a Hunger Tamer, it's like $17.
Hungry Tamer.
I love
all right.
Hunger Tamers.
Sounds good. Last but not least, we'll let people go back to their busy lives. Actually, we'll continue giving them something to live for and continue for another few minutes here. It's the last segment. We don't really have a name for this podcast segment, but what would your fighter name be? It's something I think we've all thought of at some point. But the other thing is that I don't think you can take someone else's name. If a fighter has had a nickname, let's explain what I'm talking about here. Iron Mike Tyson, ooh, tough. Notorious Conor McGregor, the Gypsy King Tyson Fury. I mean, these are cool names. They also define their style a bit and like their swagger. Darcy, you've got a long and storied history in combat sports. Surely, as you've been TKOing the local sensei at the dojo, you've thought about, this is classic behavior from Darcy, the blank Slater.
Yeah, it is something I think everyone who trains martial arts thinks at some point. I think Slayer was one I thought for a while. Darcy Slater. I reckon that's pretty good.
I wonder if DOS would not allow that. I wonder if DOS
that's
would
the
have dibs on it.
problem.
Yeah.
Hayden has a bit more of the Slayer kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And some people go something completely different. Some rhyme, like John Jones, John Bones Jones. So some people base off their last
Which is
name.
cool. Which is cool.
It can work, yeah. The other one that someone else kind of suggested for me, which the reason he suggested is kind of weird, but Grizzly Bear. And he suggested it because I sweated a lot at training. And somehow Grizzly Bears sweat.
This is not. I don't know that that's biologically or whatever the term is accurate. I don't know if they sweat that much.
Yeah, I don't like. And the thing is,
you
I'm
are pretty hairy though.
but
You are pretty hairy.
I'm not super hairy, like on the chest.
You're right.
Decently.
Proper bears, like grizzly bears, would watch and they'd be like, "Oh, hang on a second. This guy's got like, a summer fur on. I'm a winter fur grizzly
and
bear.
they'd be a
Hibernation
bit
status.
kind of a bigger build. Hayden would be a little bit more of a grizzly bear. But yeah, I haven't actually found one that I'm like, this is perfect. I've still on the quest.
I have got one for you. Before I tell you it, my name, and I don't think I've heard this one before, and this is my whole style, my lifestyle, so I think it perfectly sums it up. It would be Dan Lucky Prosser. Because I feel like if I was to win a fight and people would say, oh, it was pure luck, I'd be like, bang. Damn straight it was. Pure luck. The big dog, Dan Lucky Prosser. That way I could spin it my way. Plus, I also feel like they'd probably stumble, possibly, fall, land on the coach's seat, snap their neck like in that movie. Things like that would happen that would be in my favor. So I sort of quite associate with luck.
Good.
So
some people
Dan
do
Lucky
positive
Prosser.
ones.
Yeah,
Someone's
and
name's
that's the other
smiling.
thing. Yeah, I wouldn't want to come down the chute mean mugging and be like, yeah, I'm a dog. I could come down fairly like locked in, but fairly casually and be like, oh, this guy's kind of got a bit of an energy, positive energy about him. Then I'd get smoked and I'd say, oh, it's just unlucky today. And then they'd be like, oh, call him Dan Unlucky Prosser, and that would probably haunt me for the rest of my life until I retire.
True.
What about this? 2 names for you, Das, to leave you with.
I did think of one as well, but
see if they're better than this. First option, Darcy, the Hermit Slater, and you can have like a back, sort of like a back defense game. I don't know if that's a real thing in wrestling or whatever you do, where it's like you've got kind of like a untackleable back or something, and you'd be like, Hermit crab shell.
There's a position you're
on your back, and you're like, oh, he's in his hermit mode. He's gone full hermit mode, like what you said. He's gone hermit mode. Also, what about Darcy, the postal bomber Slater? And you'd be like, I'm mailing these punches down from downtown, from the woods, baby. From the postal bomber. Bang, bang, send him.
Postal's pretty good because like going postal.
Hey, you would be good actually.
Darcy Postal. That's actually kind of good.
That's really cool.
The one I was thinking of was Coward.
Oh yes, Imagine losing to the coward.
And actually, it's such a disrespectful name to the opposition.
The Gypsy King. He's been choked out by the coward. He's going down to the coward. The coward.
Because if I tap, that's my name. You can't give me shit.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you really are a
He tapped
coward. I'm
out.
like, yeah, I am.
In the flesh, baby.
The
I
alternative
like
could be coward killer or something along those lines.
No, because then it sounds like you're a
Craven.
one-hit puncher or something. No, Craven's associated to that really trash movie that came out. Yeah.
Coward punch is actually pretty good.
Dude.
Coward punch.
So for the media and for the mainstream, they just call you coward. But it's like with some gamer tags as well that have been massively inappropriate. When they go on stage or when they're on the international scene, they just take that half that makes their name dirty off, and they just go by I don't know. Instead of calling himself Cuck Chair, they call himself the Chair or something like that. Everyone knows that player's name is the Cuck Chair, but professionally they just call the Chair. You could just be Coward, but everyone knows he's the Coward Puncher. Well, on that note, dude, I think you've got a lot of really positive, good fighting names to consider, and I really am motivated for you to debut one of them at some point. But thanks for coming on. Thanks for being a marvelous co-host on the Trust Us podcast, and take people through being alone, because it's a harsh reality for you out there, isn't it, mate?
At times.
All right.
But
on the count
tune
of
in
three,
for next week, where I teach you how to not be alone on 101 first dates.
Cross promo. On the count of three, you have to. There's a thing we do. You have to say your catchphrase. 1, 2, 3.
Trust us.
No, okay. Well, that's the end of the podcast. So, Dos, cut this at some point here.
I've got the power to cut it. This is crazy. I've never had this.
Well, I mean, he's got to cut it at some point. he can hold me hostage. In fact, I could just get up and leave. You'll just turn it off.
All right, we'll be back next week. Trust us.